Do you want some eggs? Maylee chirped in her perky morning voice. Nah, I'll just grab a coffee. Whatever, Aunt Autumn. You're going to sneak one of those disgusting processed breakfast muffins after you drop me off, aren't you? Accusing eyes pierced Autumn's embarrassed face, forcing her to blush. Strange how such a young woman could find so much fault over a simple, guilty pleasure no bigger than a slice of cheese with sausage. These memories continuously float in and out of Autumn's mind, circling her like a consuming shadow, just waiting for the right moment to swallow her whole. After reliving the worst day of her life, Autumn would clear her mind, steady her breath, and convince herself to focus on the present. It felt like an impossible task to stop living in the past. Maylee was Autumn's niece, and she was 17 years old when she was taken. Maylee was a high school senior with 2 weeks left until graduation. She had her entire life ahead of her. Now, 3 years later, Autumn was convinced that if she could just remember any tiny detail, something she may have skipped over, the police would be forced to pry Maylee's case back open. Autumn was more of a mother to Maylee than her junkie sister could ever dream of being, even on a sober day. It had been nearly an hour since today's run commenced. Time seemed to escape Autumn as the worn-out sneakers laced to her feet moved further down the beach. Her legs were starting to tingle and burn. They weakened, like noodles under her wearying body. The intake of air burned her chest, leaving her throat to feel like a charred tree. Still intact and alive, but the edges burnt to a crisp. She could feel the color of her face darken as fresh oxygenated blood sped through her veins. Over the course of the last few days, she had pushed herself even further than her usual run. She would be leaving her beautiful home in Northern California and moving to a cramped one-bedroom apartment right in the center of Denver, Colorado. Every detail of her life would change once again, and it was terrifying. Autumn fell into a deep depression when Maylee went missing, and she became obsessed with the case. The only time she would leave the house was to go to the grocery store or police station. Her life's purpose became nothing more than to pester Detective Chance, or just Chance as everyone called him. His full name and title was Detective Chance Rupert Lizalia III. Clearly, the comfort of being referred to so casually by his first name was developed very early on in his career. The details and progress of Maylee's case were poked and prodded at by Autumn daily. It was a repetitive process until about 5 months after Maylee had disappeared. At that point, Chance put Maylee's folder in an overstuffed shelf to collect dust. "We've done everything we can," he told Autumn on that bizarrely hot fall afternoon as he slowly wiped the sweat from his full, perfectly squared hairline. "So you're going to throw her away? Just like that, you're done?" Autumn demanded, tears welling. "Every police station in the country has Maylee's picture," Chance reminded her. "If anyone finds her or come across anything that we can link to the case, then I assure you, Autumn, you'll be the first to know." The short conversation had rendered Autumn mute. She stood frozen in shock as he told her to move on with her life. Chance apologized for the loss in such a way that it was clear Maylee would never be found. Then he brushed past her in the hallway of an overlit police station and went about his day as if nothing had changed. Autumn recalled it now as she ran, remembering the emptiness in Chance's expression. The excruciating heat of that day hadn't even touched the icy daggers he sent jabbing into her chest. Even his outfit was seared into her memory. He wore a dark gray suit, complementing his tan, and an orange tie. There was no denying it. Chance was a very attractive man for his age. The stress of the job was surely the culprit of a cluster of wrinkles at the corners of his eyes, although they only added to his enticing facade. Chance was the kind of man that you could take one look at and just know, without a doubt, he could defend himself. His build was strong enough to be noticed, with broad shoulders and a flat stomach, but his eyes were key. They were light gray and deeply piercing,